Welcome back to Expand the Visual. I'm Jordan Taylor, author of How to Wash Your Brain and Total Attention Magic. You can check those books out at the links in the description. But that's not really what I want to talk about today. Not my book so much, but I just want to talk to you about something that's been on my mind. So I'm here in Athens, Greece. That's where I'm making this video right now. I'm on a one-year trip around the world with my family. And the other day we got to visit the Agora at the Acropolis here in Athens. And the Agora, man, it's just such an exquisite place to walk around, and you really get transported back into how it must have been. There's a temple up on the hill. There's a museum that's reconstructed to be like, what do they call it? The Stoa, where it's a covered porch where you walk around, and they probably had like shopping and stuff there. In fact, Agora is the name that was given to any like public gathering space. So think of it like a marketplace, but also where people would give lectures and there's festivals, religious stuff. So maybe like a town square is a good way of thinking of it. Now, when we were done looking at the Agora, I started to think, I wonder if Agora, is that the root word of agoraphobia? And I went home and looked it up, and sure enough, Agora is the root word of agoraphobia. And it makes sense, because agoraphobia is the fear of crowds. All right? So the fear of crowds, it makes sense that it would be named after the Agora, because that's the public gathering space. And I don't know, this kind of just sent me on a spiral of thought that was thinking about like, well, what's the new public gathering space, and why are people afraid of crowds, and how do we kind of adapt to what crowds think of us? How do we deal with that? And you know, the internet, what I'm talking to you right now through, that's the new Agora. That's our public gathering space. And there's a lot of crazy shit going on with the crowds on the internet. And so it makes sense that there would be some kind of a fear of the crowd. Like right now we have things like cancel culture, we have things like trolls and online bullying and all sorts of stuff. But you think back in ancient Greece, if you were in the Agora, you had real physical things that could happen to you. I mean, Socrates was killed for what he was saying to the crowd. So it's a legitimate fear, and probably it has something to do with evolution. You know, if you over time got up and just shot your mouth off and said whatever you wanted to the crowd, there was a good chance that somebody was maybe, I don't know, going to kick your ass or kill you, or, you know, take your children away from you. So agoraphobia is probably something that has developed over time to be a part of who we are, to be very defensive in the face of a crowd. But I think a lot of it these days is misplaced, and people really let a fear of the crowd change how they interact with the world, especially the online world. So I'll use myself as an example. This was interesting to me. I wanted to talk about it, but I was just thinking in my head, no way would I talk about it with somebody. They might think I'm weird, or they might not be interested, they might not care, they might laugh at me for putting this out there. But that made me think of another Greek word, the word persona. And persona is a mask, right? Persona is the mask that you show to the crowd, like a barrier between the real you and the crowd, because you present to them this persona, this mask that you think they want to see. And that really made me think of online culture a lot. Is like, okay, I have to look just right, I have to put on my makeup before I would ever talk to a camera, or oh my god, my profile picture I have to put through 13 filters, or hey, if I'm making a travel video, I gotta show myself in this really cool spot so that people will see how cool I am. Or I've been doing it myself, posting some travel things, and do I always post when something goes wrong. I mean, like right outside right now, there's noisy traffic, there's a broken down wall that's covered with graffiti. Am I showing you that? No, I'm showing you in here this kind of contrived setup. And do I even have really a point of where I'm going with this? I don't know. I don't know if anybody's going to find it interesting. Then I thought, well, do I always have to have this interesting persona that protects me from the crowd? Do I always have to make a video just because it's like the other videos on YouTube? And I decided I was getting really tired of the persona when I was thinking about this whole Agora and Agoraphobia and the dynamics of the crowd and the individual, because this is the shit I like to talk about. So if you and I were sitting down and we were having coffee or a beer or a glass of wine and you were a good buddy of mine, this is what I would be talking about. These are the kinds of things and conversations that interest me. So I just decided I'll just take the persona off and I'll make a series of videos called, I don't even know what I'm going to call it. Why does it have to have a catchy name? But I probably will call it like if we're having coffee or if we're having a beer or a glass of wine, and I'm just going to talk about stuff that I want to talk about. And if the rest of the people in the Agora find it interesting, good. If they don't, oh well, this is still the kind of stuff I want to talk about, and it feels a lot better than being behind this weird, stiff, painted persona that I have to put on. So if you want to see a little bit behind the persona, this will be the list of videos that you'll like to see. So come check it back out. Maybe next time I'll actually have a coffee cup or a glass of beer. We'll see. All right.